Good evening. This is a meeting of the Athens Board of Zoning Appeals. The time is 7 p.m. and the date is October 14, 2014. At this time, I will call the meeting to order. The board consists of 5 members and 2 alternates, the alternates taking full part in the discussions and becoming a voting member in the absence of a member or when a member abstains for conflict of interest. Present tonight are Ms. Betty Hollow, Ms. Kate Housley, Ms. Joan Krajnansky, Ms. Lisa Carson, and our alternate tonight is Ms. Ellen Salter. I am John Goldsey, the chair. Also present are zoning administrator, Mr. John Paskey, and secretary, Mr. Paul Eschenbacher. At this time, I invite you to view a pre-recorded video on the rules and procedure of the board.
The Athens Board of Zoning Appeals operates according to the following procedure. The chair will name and describe the case. The zoning administrator or secretary will state the basis of the objection and any applicable facts or conditions pertaining to the case. The appellant or their representative will give reason why the appeal should be viewed favorably. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of the request will be heard. Anyone wishing to speak in general comment will be heard. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition will be heard. If necessary, the appellant or their representative will offer concluding, summary, or rebuttal remarks. Testimony from the floor shall be closed. The board will deliberate and render a decision. According to Athens City Code, Section 23.07.03b, the board has power to grant variances from the strict application of the code, provided the variance will not be contrary to the public interest, the spirit of the code is observed, public safety and welfare are secured, and substantial justice is done. According to Athens City Code, Section 23.07.10c, variances from the code shall not be granted unless the board makes specific findings of fact based directly on the particular evidence presented to it, that the standards and conditions imposed in this title, if applicable, have been met by the applicant. Exceptional circumstances. There are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question or to the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other properties or classes or uses in the same zone. Practical difficulty and undue hardship. Because of exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions pertaining to a specific piece of property, a literal enforcement of these regulations will result in practical difficulty or undue hardship that is unnecessary to the achievement of public purposes. Preservation of equal property rights. Literal interpretation of these regulations would deprive the appellant of rights commonly enjoyed by others in the same zone and the same vicinity, while a granting of the requested variance will not confer on the applicant any special privilege that is denied to other properties in the same zone and the same vicinity. Minimum variance. The variance granted is the minimum variance required to make possible the reasonable use of the property. Absence of detriment. The authorizing of such variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property and will not materially impair the purpose of the zoning code or the public interest. Not of a general nature. The condition or situation of the specific piece of property or the intended use of said property for which variance is sought, one or the other or in combination, is not of so general or recurrent a nature as to make reasonably practicable the formulation of a general regulation for such condition or situation. Any person, resident, or officer, department, or appointed body of the City of Athens, aggrieved by a decision of the Board, may petition the Athens County Court of Common Pleas concerning the illegality of the decision. Such petition must be filed within 30 days after the mailing of the decision of the Board to the applicant. Thank you.
There are 3 cases on tonight's agenda. Case number 14-12V, property at 205 West Washington Street. Case 14-13B, property at 96 Columbia Avenue. and case number 314-14V, property at 75 Stewart Street. The board is required to take testimony under oath. Would anyone wishing to speak concerning any item on the agenda please stand? Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you will present to the board be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Be seated, please.
The Athens Board of Zoning Appeals operates according to the following procedure.
Just in case you
The
need
chair will
another
name and describe the case.
review.
The zoning administrator or secretary.
Okay. The first case is case number 14-12V. Zone is B1, property at 205 West Washington Street. Mr. Kevin Klein is the appellant. The appellant is requesting a variance from ACC 2310, Table A, a schedule of bulk controls to allow the remodeling of a triplex, resulting in added cubic content with a front setback of 5 feet, where 25 feet is the minimum required, with a rear setback of 25 feet, where 40 feet is the minimum requirement, with a left setback of 4 feet, where 5 feet is the minimum requirement, with total side setback of 13 feet, where 20 feet is the minimum requirement. And from ACC 2310, Table B, off-street parking requirements to allow 4 parking spaces where 9 parking spaces are required. Mr. Paskey?
Yes, I think I had to introduce this.
The Athens Board of Zoning Appeals operates according to the following procedure.
There you go. I've had a number of phone calls on this one. I think a lot of people were a little bit confused, not just from members of the board, but from the public as well. Anytime we do a change in occupancy, use, cubic content, footprint, or roof line, the project is supposed to come into compliance. In this instance, there are many variances being requested, but they're all existing. The reason that we're making him come here is because he's wishing to increase, and I'll let him explain that better, but increase the room on the first floor, but it'll be going into the front porch space, or part of the front porch, to increase the size of a bedroom and a bathroom. The occupancy is not being increased, parking's not changing, setbacks are not changing, everything is identical to what it is now. This is a permissive, it isn't a B1 zone, but B1 does permit residential use, and depending on what zone it abuts is the rules it can go by. The least restrictive is what it states, and in this case, this B1 abuts an R3, so therefore it can be a triplex, and then that's what it is. Parking, I've received questions why you have to have 9 parking spaces when there's only 8 tenants, is because it is a triplex. One of the units is for 4 people, one is for 3, one is for 1. But you cannot have just 1 parking space for a single unit. It has to be 2. Therefore, that's why he's required to have 9. So if that helps explain this project a little better, I'll let Mr. Klein take it from there.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Paskey? Okay, Mr. Klein, you may come to the podium and state your name and your address for the records.
My name is Kevin Klein. I live at 61 Warren Road here in Athens, and I recently purchased 205 West Washington in June and found a number of needs for improvement. I own other rental property around Athens and have done a couple of projects that hopefully have been acceptable and obviously through this board approved by the community as well, accepted. But my point is that 205 needed some work done. We recently put all new windows in, and keeping the character of the house, which is one of our goals, we kept the arch top windows on the upper floor. Offered to have a cheaper window put in, and I told the salesperson that I'd rather keep the character of the house. And in much doing so, that's what we're asking for here, is to extend the wall over so that we can make a bathroom. The bathroom that's currently in the property is very small for the tenants to use and needing some renovations. And in order for me to do those renovations, I came up with the idea of adding a second bathroom that I could build first then remodel the one that's in poor condition, in my opinion. It still meets code, but it's not something I would want to be living with. So what we're asking is to move that one wall, that, as you're looking at the front pictures there, over to the left, staying within the current roof line and the current foundation. Just utilizing the porch area, coming over, I didn't really look at all my numbers again, but somewhere around 6 feet, staying under the current roof line, staying on the current footprint, and increasing the bedrooms. The 2 bedrooms, not number of bedrooms, the size. The front of the house many years ago used to be, from what I can best assume, was a living room. And they divided it right down the middle. And that front window actually has a wall right down the middle of it. So someone really kind of did some chopping up there. I would like to make it a proper living quarters. The bedrooms are only 8 foot wide. I'd like to extend those both to 10 and put closets down the middle, make them a little bit more conducive to living in. I'm not asking for increased bedrooms. There will not be an increase of tenants. It is rented to 8 people. There are 8 bedrooms. I have no interest in increasing the bedrooms on the property. I just want to improve what is there.
Thank you. I was there today and actually was looking around. Are there 3 separate entrances to this triplex?
Yes. The lower is near the back for apartment A, which is a 3-bedroom.
Okay.
The middle, where I would be asking for the variance to do this remodel, is as you look at the houses to the right, that's what comes into the living room, and then the 3rd floor or 2nd floor 1-bedroom is on the side between the brick building and the house. So yes, they all have exterior entrances to each individual unit.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from the board?
Can you address the parking issue? Talk about that a little bit.
I didn't know I had an issue until I got to the
you're saying that there's a current variance. Did I understand you saying?
No, it's grandfathered.
It's grandfathered.
It's grandfathered.
Yeah, they have 4.
I have no intentions of doing anything with the number of people that can live there or the parking, if you will allow, because I purchased it this way. All I'm asking is to do the remodel, make the bedrooms better, make another bathroom, staying within the footprint and the roof line. I didn't realize until this letter came back that I had a 9 requirement for parking. Knowing I've got other properties, I always understood it to be 1 per bedroom, but I understand what John has said. I don't have any 1 units except for that particular place that I just bought. So knowing that now with a 1-bedroom that you actually have to have 2 parking spaces is something I've learned. So, but my current tenants, they don't all have cars. There's plenty of parking out back, and I've been going over there to work, and I've always been able to park right out front. I know that's not your concern, that there is parking out front unless the new cider house is in business and open. It's kind of busy, but otherwise there's ample parking. So, yes.
So I guess I would have a question about the character of the house. And you said you were very interested in maintaining the character of the house.
Yes.
Which was why you did the specialty window on the 2nd floor.
Right.
Do you not think by altering the porch that you would be changing dramatically the character of the house?
Not really, and here's why. The green siding that's on the house, our plan is to take the banisters off and use the vinyl siding that's there, recycle it, put it on so it all matches, it doesn't look any different, and put a nice vinyl railing. I think I gave you photos of that I actually did with the apartments that's behind C&E, all of the porches there. No, that's my plan, is to really keep it within the look, and I don't want it to just look like an add-on. That's not my intention at all.
So you think vinyl posts, I've just seen a lot of vinyl posts around town in rentals, and they last about 6 months through one party cycle, right? And you kick that, that's, and that house has stayed so impressionable on that street for so long with the way the porches are.
Right.
So there was no destruction to that porch because of the way it was laid out, which is my concern, that it really would change character. And there are several houses, not many, but several still, that have character in that neighborhood.
Right.
that once they start falling down, and this would dramatically
I hope
change
you
it.
understand, the porch will continue the full frontage and then turns to go back to the front door. I'm not wanting to come toward the street any at all. All I'm wanting to do is to, from the front elevation, go to the left and then fill in from behind it with the bathroom and the square footage for the bedrooms. And I really don't think that it will deter from the character of the house. It's really my goal is to make it pretty seamless to where people don't even notice it.
Okay, any other questions?
Well, I have a question for somebody. If one or two of the bedrooms are increased from 8 by 12 to 10 by 12, my understanding is that a 120 square foot room would be not necessarily allowed, but theoretically allowed for 2 people. Is that correct?
It is.
So
They'd
can
have
you-
to come back for a variance. Yeah.
Okay, so you can control that by simply saying it has 8
Absolutely.
occupants. Okay.
You will have a chance to come back if there is any rebuttal, so you may, unless you have more to say, you may be seated. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of the request? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in general comment? Yes.
Do I go there?
Yes, please. And state your name and your address for the record.
And what?
Your address.
Hi, I'm Laura Parati. I live at 11 Maple Street, right behind the place. And I'm actually glad Kevin's, working on it and fixing it up. And so I don't object to any of that. But I have a real serious concern that I've had ever since whoever it is that originally bought that made an apartment out of that garage. It's really difficult for them to pull out without being on my property. And I had my garage bumped into many times over. I've almost been hit a couple of times just coming out my back steps. My air conditioner 2 years ago was hit. And I'd say probably 8 out of 10 people who pull out of there pull out onto my property. Is there anything? It's really an issue. And I have grandkids I take in and out of that back way. Is there anything that can be done to resolve that? It is a problem for me, a real problem, when they're on my property and I'm there, or my grandkids are there, or my house, or my garage, or my, air conditioner's there, and it's on my property. Because it's tight. It's tight. And it's not bad when there's only 2 cars parked there because they got more room to wiggle to make a sharper turn. But when there's, 3 or 4 cars there, it's almost impossible for them not to come onto my property. So I'm asking you, please. I don't.
I'm willing to work with the lawyers.
That's a real problem for me. It has been forever, and I haven't said anything because I didn't think I could do anything about it anyway. Until this came up, I thought, oh, well, the parking's coming into question. Maybe I can bring this up now. So here I am. And I'm presenting this to you. Parking. I think the parking is an issue.
Yeah.
So is what I'm saying. When there's 4 cars back there. Again, if there's 2, which is what all it used to be when I was there, when the old lady used to live there, and that was a garage, and there were 2 spots. There were never 4 spots. There were 2 spots. There's never been 4 spots.
I assume the parking issue will remain the same because
well, it has to.
it's
It's
4,
grandfathered in.
but
Yeah.
something you need to work out with Mr. Klein or maybe the code office.
10-foot right-of-way of an alley, from what I understand, it's going to be tough to maneuver.
But what do I
two of them can work together.
do? I mean,
You contact
what are
Mr. Klein and Mr. Paskey, right?
I think we can work on that. I don't know if I have an opportunity to address that now.
Yeah, later on.
Yeah, okay.
So I guess I would ask a question. Are the spaces wide enough? Is that what's causing the issue? Or
It's a narrow alley.
well, I know it's a narrow alley. I was down there, but if there were 3 spaces, I mean,
It's the problem that I've argued throughout, and our code allows it, even on driveways being 10 foot, that to take a 15, 20-foot long vehicle and back it into a 10-foot space to get in and out.
And if I might just say a logical answer, angle parking. They come in one way, back out. Go the other.
That would help. that
I
would
just
not-
thought of that while I'm sitting
Actually,
here.
I've thought about that
Okay.
before.
Maybe we could work on that.
And if maybe the students were aware that my house is literally almost right there on the corner. Yeah, you know, I have like about this much yard space, and there's my house from where the alley is.
Laura, I think all we need to do is communicate that to them
Yeah.
and maybe help them understand that,
Yeah.
paint some lines, and we'll see
Yeah,
if we can give some.
that might help.
Right.
Oh, well, it's going to help.
Right.
Okay.
I don't think they understand that that's what's happening. So. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone who wished to speak in opposition? Would you like to add anything more or respond? You already did some part of it, but you can come to the podium and address the issue.
Let me just come back up and make it official. I think part of the problem is communication. I'm glad you brought it to the table tonight. I didn't know that. We've talked about lighting and things like that have been very concerned.
I got that letter.
Right. So I'm glad you have,
Let's just
because
not go
I
back
want
and
to be,
forth.
I want to be a respectful neighbor. And I was just sitting here thinking about some of the projects and things I've done. That a lot of times the young people within our community, they don't know what they're doing as far as backing out onto her property and realize what it's doing. So I think if we educate them, help them know what they are doing, and give them some solutions to it. And I think one of them is the direction they come off from, I'm thinking Schaefer Street, up the alley, and then they pull into their parking space. If we made it more of an angle to where when they get ready to leave, they back into the alley rather than straight back onto her property.
Or actually, it might be better than coming up Maple Street and going down.
But we can work on that. I think the angle is probably going to be the solution. So,
Okay, very good.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
The discussion from the floor is closed. Any discussion on the board, or you want to make a motion?
I move that we grant variances to the property at 205 West Washington Street from ACC 2310 Table A, Schedule of Bulk Controls, to allow the remodeling of a triplex resulting in added cubic content with a front setback of 5 feet where 25 feet is the minimum requirement, rear setback of 25 feet where 40 feet is the minimum, with a left side setback of 4 feet where 5 feet is the minimum requirement, and a total side setback of 13 feet where 20 feet is the minimum requirement, and from ACC 2310 Table B off-street parking requirements to allow 4 parking spaces where 9 parking spaces are required.
I second.
Okay, second. Okay, let's go through the findings. Exceptional circumstances. There are exceptional or extraordinary circumstances or conditions applying to the property in question or to the intended use of the property that do not apply generally to other properties or classes or uses in the same zone. Betty, I'm looking at you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess one of the circumstances here that requires all these setbacks and things is that this house has been there a long time before the zoning code came in. It's a small lot. But that's the circumstance for every other house in
Right.
that zone. So I don't know that there's a particular circumstance that's exclusive to this house.
Okay. Any other comments?
He's just trying to enlarge some rooms, though.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah.
and it is grandfathered.
Yeah.
So
it is good.
It seems reasonable to me.
Well, I guess I would add, since you're all waiting, the possibility exists, and this might fit under one of the other findings, that in order to do some upgrades to this place and expand the bedrooms and put in a cupboard and the extra bathroom, you could take the 2 front bedrooms and turn that into 1 bedroom using additional space in that area for the bathroom and a closet, in which case you would still have 7 tenants. You would relieve 1 parking place, and you wouldn't even have to be here because
Yes, you would.
nothing,
Change of occupancy, it would still be required to come here,
even with less.
even with reduction, yes.
Yeah.
Well, then you would still have to come here, but I think that we would be dealing with a different issue, which would be change of occupancy.
Yeah, well, we're going to concentrate on what's on the agenda. Practical difficulty and undue hardship because of exceptional or extraordinary conditions pertaining to the specific piece of property. A literal enforcement of these regulations will result in practical difficulty or undue hardship that is unnecessary to the achievement of public purposes.
Well, are we allowed to consider practical difficulty or undue hardship to tenants? Because they're the ones that
No,
are,
it's-
really?
I don't think so.
Huh.
Why would we? It's to the property owner and the property.
Yeah, it has to do with the
To the
property.
property,
It's
right?
the property.
Well, the property cannot experience hardship, so it has to be the property owner.
So he has the hardship of not having a suitable size.
Yes, larger
apartment
rooms are
and
more desirable
sufficient
nowadays.
bathroom for his tenants.
Yeah.
Well, I think, to just generalize, there are several things that I think we're not going to be able to find for literally. And the applicant himself says, will denial of the variance deprive the appellant of reasonable use of the property? And he says, no, it won't.
Right.
And will the variance be the minimum that would allow reasonable use of the land or buildings? And so this is minimum variance, and he himself says no. So, in fact, it's a strange kind of case because it is already grandfathered for all of these setbacks and, in fact, for the parking. And the thing that you're asking for does not seem to be terribly objectionable because from the outside, people will hardly notice. So it's a weird set of circumstances where I would literally say, no, 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 no. But, okay, we'll see.
Okay. Preservation of equal property rights. Are we granting more privilege to this piece of property by granting this variance than the other properties in the same zone?
Not in my opinion.
No, okay. Minimum variance. The variance granted is the minimum variance required to make possible the reasonable use of the property, and that's what you
The
were saying.
applicant says
Yeah.
no.
No.
Absence of detriment. The authorizing of such variance will not be substantial detriment to adjacent property and will not materially impair the purpose of the zoning code or the public interest.
That's true, I think.
Meaning you don't see any detriment.
I don't see any
There is no
detriment.
detriment, yes. And not of a general nature. So we are good with that one. Okay, let's just start with you.
I'll vote yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Betty?
I'm going to vote yes, although I think this is a good example of properties being overbuilt for the lots that they're on, or over-occupied for the lots that they are on.
Okay. Joan?
And I'll say no for the very reasons that Betty stated.
Okay. And I will say yes as well, so you have your variance. Okay, let's move on to the second case.
I'm sorry, what was Ms. Hollow's vote?
Yes,
I voted yes, reluctantly.
4
Not
yeses.
really reluctantly, but peculiarly. Whatever.
Case number 2 is case 14-13V, the property at 96 Columbia Avenue. Zone is R1, and the appellant is Mr. Frank Stalder. The appellant is requesting a variance from ACC 2310 Table A, Schedule of Bulk Controls, to allow an addition to a house resulting in a rear setback of 20 feet, where 30 feet is the maximum allowed.
Should that be minimum?
Minimum allowed. It should
I
be
can't
minimum
do
allowed.
it.
Yeah. Maximum allowed would not be good. So, Mr. Paskey.
Correcting that notation. I'll let Mr. Stalder speak to this one, but he had a carport on his property. Is that correct? Or one of them awning things? And that he's wanting to. I can't remember. Are you wanting to relocate that, or are you building onto the house?
take that down and put a permanent structure.
That's what I thought. And so he assembled one. We've all seen these temporary carports that are going up around. They're not really addressed in the code, so we started treating them as accessory structures, even though they're not fixed to the ground, much like we would a shed. And he put one of those up, and we let him know that we didn't feel he should. So he's asked about them just putting an addition onto the house, but as an addition to his garage. But yet he needs the variance for the setbacks.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stoller, would you like to come to the podium? And by the way, did you swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
I'm Frank Stalder, and I live at 96 Columbia Avenue. And my intent was to build a carport where this tent is that I've had up for about 2 years. There was a carport there many years ago that was made out of metal, and it collapsed, and then they removed it. And then when I moved in, I put this tent awning thing up to protect my car. We have a small garage, and I have 2 cars. So the small garage keeps one car, but the other one I have to leave outside. So we thought, well, what we could do is we could build a carport, not enclosed, but just the carport itself, to pull the car under. And then I was hoping to put a deck on top. Not enclosed again, just the railing, and so it wasn't going to be anything real spectacular, but it was going to be a nice, solid deck. The one I have now, the tent, when it snows, I have to go out and beat it off every time it snows because it's such a pain. It can't take a lot of weight, and having this carport would allow me to not worry about the thing falling down.
Questions?
Just a couple of questions. So there's this driveway that's going into the space below your garage, which is where you want to build the carport.
Right.
And how long did you tell me that had been there?
Well,
that driveway?
That driveway's been there for, I've been married now for almost 50 years, and it's been there that long, I know. Because the house was bought, I think they bought it in 59 or 60.
And you're going to build the carport right over top.
Right over the top of it.
Where you have
not going to extend anything or go anything past the house. It'll be even with the house, even with the driveway.
Any other questions? You had 2 questions.
I was going to ask him about drainage and gutters, but we had already I talked to him
Yes.
about that, but I guess he might want to say something about that.
Well, yeah, I am going to, and I did go down and talk to the neighbor below, and she signed a paper saying it was fine. She had no problem with it whatsoever. She said she didn't come with me, and I told her I didn't think it was necessary, but, and we talked about putting drains on. We will be putting a gutter on it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you may be seated for now.
Thank you.
We have 2 letters, one from Mr. Ted Jacobson and one from Mr. I believe is John Kiefer, neighbors, and they say, we don't have any problem with the construction of the above proposal. Okay, let me go and see if there's anyone who would like to speak in the favor of this proposal, or anyone in general commentary. Anyone opposed? Okay, discussion is closed from the floor.
Excuse me, John, can I ask Mr. Paskey a question?
Absolutely.
If he's building an open carport, if he wanted to enclose that, would he have to come back to code, or have we already granted him that permission?
I think you're granting it because it's not really cubic content per se for a garage. It's not a habitable space, so he's not going to be changing the footprint, so to speak. So I think either way, if you're granting this, you'll probably be someday wanting to close it in. I think it would be okay. That's my
So if we
opinion right
didn't
now.
want it to be closed in, so it would add another room or addition, then we would have to state that in the ordinance. Remember we did that on the B1 out on East State Street when they put a roof on, we said it would have to remain an open space. I'm just asking to.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. I mean, obviously, if he wanted to, like you're saying, I'm not saying it ever happens, but make it a rental and turn it into bedrooms.
Right. I
it's
don't
already
think
enclosed.
this was his intent, but in the future, I'm thinking about the piece of property and what we're allowing to happen.
You
to
can
this
make
piece
a
of property.
condition maybe on the variance if you like.
Right, that it be an open space. Would that be the best wording to put in
An
that?
open carport
An open carport.
with a deck on top.
Right. Okay.
With that, John, are you ready to make a motion?
Thanks.
With the additions.
Okay. Hang on. I move that the board consider case number 1413V, 96 Columbia Avenue, appellant John
Frank.
Stalder, requesting a variance from ACC 2310, Table A, Schedule of Bulk Controls to allow an addition to a house, that being an open carport with deck, resulting in a rear setback of 20 feet where 30 feet is the maximum allowed. Minimum. Oh, right. Oh, sorry. Right.
Anyone wants a second?
Second?
Lisa, second. Okay, going through the findings. Exceptional circumstances. I probably won't read the entire thing. Exceptional circumstances.
Well, there is something odd about this piece of property, even though its official address is Columbia. Its primary entrance has been changed for several years to be Madison, and so really this is a side yard, although that's all official in that the address is on Columbia. It does make it a peculiar situation. When you look at the property, you're looking at the side yard where he wants to put this, so I think that's...
Practical difficulty and undue hardship. The literal enforcement of these regulations will result in practical difficulty or undue hardship that is unnecessary to the achievement of the public purposes.
Well, I think it's a hardship to have to leave your car outside all the time.
Right.
It might be possible to shelter it in some fashion. Most people have garages.
Right. Fix the snow removal and clean up. Preservation of equal property rights.
Yes,
I
most
think that's
people
the
have
right
garages.
anybody. Yeah. Minimum variance.
We're talking about 10 feet.
Right. Absence of detriment.
No.
Okay. And not of a general nature.
No.
Okay. We'll start with you, Jerome, this time.
Yes.
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 And I vote yes. So you have the variance.
I have a question. Since we're so far into the fall here, I'm thinking of waiting for spring. Will this still be good?
Yeah,
That Mr. Paskey will.
get with me on that. We'll talk.
Do I need to come down and see you right away, or
You got
wait until I'm ready?
next week's fine. Week after doesn't matter. You got plenty of time.
All right.
All right, thank you. The last case is case number 14-14B, Zone R3 and 75 Stewart Street. Appellant is Mr. Trent D. Bruin. Okay. Appellant is requesting a variance from ACC 2310 Table A Schedule of Bulk Controls to allow, in addition to a structure with the property having 65% total lot coverage where 60% is the maximum allowed. Mr. Paskey, would you like to add anything more?
First thing I want to say publicly is I want to apologize to Mr. Bruin and the church because this was my mistake. I missed it at the meeting 2 times ago. He came, if you remember, they came in for the flood hazard variance, and I didn't even catch it. Didn't even think about it because I was thinking church, R3 neighborhood, and it just didn't apply or didn't think that he still needs to comply with lot coverage regulations. So I would have normally just had you done an amendment like we've done before for something I forgot. But this is a different set of findings than what we did before, so we've got to go through the findings for this.
Oh, I was going to ask if you could suspend the rules and just give them the variance.
We did the findings before were on flood. We never did the actual
Okay.
findings for the lot coverage, so that's why I've got him back here for a second time.
Okay, we do the long way. Would you like to come to the podium and state anything that you like? And please state your name and your address for the record.
Thank you. My name is Trent DeBrun. I live at 12092 Sweat Hollow Road in Millfield, Ohio. Appreciate Mr. Paskey helping me out this evening. So I guess we're asking for a minimal variance lot coverage. It was exceeded the lot coverage prior to this code being enacted, and the addition, I believe, if you guys remember a couple months ago from the flood variance, it's a minimal addition to the back side of the building, and I guess I don't have too much more else to say than that.
Okay.
I think it's important that I add too that the existing structure and everything there is at 64.1%, I think it was, and this addition, because they're taking off the patio and adding this part on, takes the whole thing up to just over 65%. So we're only increasing by about 1% of the lot coverage.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Colline, would you like to say anything in opposing or in favor or in general? Okay, we are done. Okay. Any discussion? Anyone wants to make a motion?
I move that we consider granting a variance in case 1414B, Zone R3, 75 Stewart Street, Trent DeBruin Appellant, from ACC 2310, Table A, Schedule of Bulk Controls, to allow an addition to a structure with a property having 65% total lot coverage, where 60% is the maximum allowed.
A second.
Okay. Exceptional circumstances.
Before you go on, Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, did you recuse yourself on the last one?
Yeah, I did. I might as well do that now.
Yeah, I think you better.
Okay. Does that mean I can't second? Someone else.
I don't think so. I just
Okay.
think you can't vote.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we've had alternate second before in the past.
Okay.
Early on. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not voting tonight.
Right.
Good to be done. Exceptional circumstances. Is there any special exceptions to this piece of property that we could consider?
Does the lot coverage have anything to do with the fact that it is in the floodplain? Or,
The two are not tied together.
No.
okay.
Well, let's pass on that one.
We could back up and say the lot coverage that's allowed is 60%, and it has already exceeded this for a number of years. And so this is simply a minor adjustment to an overage that already exists.
Okay. Practical difficulty and undue hardship. So they need this variance really to proceed with their project,
Yes.
right? Preservation of equal property rights. I think others under the same circumstances would be requesting the same. Minimum variance.
It's very
It
minimal.
is very
It's
minimal.
1%.
There is no absence of detriment, in my view, and not of a general nature.
No.
Let's just start with you, Kay, again.
Yes.
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 I vote yes.
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. So you have the variance 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we got two minor items to take care of. One is you all have read the last month's.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any questions?
I have no comments. That was Lisa's turn, not mine.
You want to move to
I move that we approve the September minutes.
second?
I second.
Okay?
I'm always up for seconding.
So we approved the minutes. And final discussion on the revised rules of procedure. We have revised the rules of the procedure of the board for the last couple of years or so, and it's complete. It's been approved by it's been shared by all of you. You all had a chance to review. I'm just going to go summarize in here some of the changes. If I can find my, okay, thank you. The last revision was in December 10, 2002, about 12 years ago. And then, so what we have done, anything that is now included in the code, we have removed from that because it would be redundant. And then sometimes we elect a new chair in February, sometimes in March. No matter when we elect a new chair, the following month the chair will take office. And then board members should notify the chair and the code office at their earliest convenience if they are unable to attend a meeting. That has been the case lately, and I mean the last couple of years or so. It works very well. You know, it serves we want to serve the appellants to the best we can. In the event of absence of appellant or applicant, the applicant's narrative statement submitted with the application may be used, or if we decide we can table the case. You know, so if they don't show up and we have a statement from them, we can use that and continue our case, or if we decide we could table it for the following month.
So we have done that, haven't we?
Yes, but now we have a choice of selecting, you know, so we want to put them in writing now.
Okay, and that's not in the code, that's in our manual.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right. All of this is for our own manual.
Right.
And starting next month, we will be voting simultaneously like the other commissions and other boards. That means all in favor, they will raise their hands. And of course, we still need to make note of who voted what. So, but it would be simultaneously. And we have added appendices A through G. They are mostly the BZA forms and the introduction we read at the beginning of the meetings. And again, we have shared this with the city and all of you. Do we want to adopt the new rules? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed?
Aye.
Okay.
Can I make two comments? Brief comments. The first one is to graciously thank your wife for retyping that document, you know, because people forget that this, and that is part of the problem, is that this document was where? On a piece of paper somewhere, right? So your wife had to put all this back so it could be an electronic document. And following with that, I would like to suggest, and I think Ed Baum agreed with me, and I'll give you my reasoning for this, that this document should be on the BZA page on the city website, so it is an available document. I was with a group of people, and we were at a committee. It's a city committee. It was an arts committee, and supposedly they had this same thing that we've just put together, but nobody knew where it was. It was like, where is it, right? Which is the same thing that have in our documents. So as Ed said, this is a public document. So if it would be on the web page under BZA with all of our names, and there's the link to our document, it would never be lost in somebody's house again.
Well, we have, this is a living document. It could change day by day, you know.
Right, that's the beauty of electronics, right?
I think if you put them on the website, then we have to changing it on the website. It's not a very.
Well, you just can move up the whole document.
We will leave them with the code office, and we'll see what they want to do.
We can put it on there. It's not a big deal to change it if you make further changes.
Yeah.
No, you just do a PDF, convert it back to Word, make the changes, put it back to PDF, put it right back up there.
We can get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? Move to adjourn?
So be it.
Okay. We are adjourned.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If everyone would stay.